let's double check some of that effect. Let's hit you with your endurance though. That's all endurance. You don't drain it, correct? Entirely.
No, no, I mean, I get 8 endurance for the ego attack, and I have 13, so that leaves 4 on my endurance.
That's too bad because the drain effect hits you again, and now you are at 0.
With only 4, or with, you know?
Your endurance drops to 0.
All right. Mm-hmm. So, but he is totally.
Because you smell.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. The two of you are rank as hell, both of you. So yes, let me quickly check something though. Again, I'm getting just a little bit weary and not quite following my own rules.
Oh, but with color, is it the smell of rotting things, or is it the smell of like?
It's almost difficult to describe. I mean, the decay it's bad in the sense that decay has such a reflexive result, right? But it's almost more of a technological or metallic form of that.
Yeah.
Almost
like when you burning electronics.
Something like that, yeah, but it's just organic enough to be disgusting, to give you that same, the reflexive, you need to get away from it. You almost want to tear off your clothes and, throw them off you, just in case it's them. So,
does this is it only me as a as a human being reacting to this, or is the suit also feeling some kind of?
Well, I think that we are going to let that be kind of your own effect there. But the fact is that I need to carry on with what is happening, because the before we're all wearing out. This is 10,000 times longer than any of us expected, and so I'm going to say that you have a choice. The other two, they are working with Stench. They see him fighting it out with you. And Hellbender basically says, we got a situation over here. And Slice speaks, which is a little bit alarming. You've not heard her speak before. And she says, actually she's speaking in Serbian. And she says something as well, whatever it is. And I know what it is. And so and Stench says do what I said. And as he's oh wait, you hit him again, that's right. No, I'm sorry. So Stench is looks up at them, and he has this kind of what look on his face. And Hellbender says, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Right. And at this point is when Gronschichten, says, first of all, wait, your last name is Lita, correct? Karl Henrik Lita?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Litke.
Oh, Litka. Okay. Well, Jesus, I know how to say it. I'm really tired. Hold on.
That's a really weird one. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on just a moment. I've got to look at you. Oh yeah, there.
I have.
Okay. No, right.
I have. Is he talking to me? I have something to say to him.
Oh,
also.
He does. He says to you. He says, "Litka."
Yeah.
We can settle our problems later.
Yes, I totally agree.
And I look up from punching Stench, and I said, "Me too," and I continue.
Oh, you're going to sock him a few times. Go ahead and roll.
Oh yeah,
good. Go
I'm
ahead
hammering.
Oh, in that case, you don't need to roll a hit because he's not resisting. So you go ahead and give me your dice. Do you want to push your strength by any chance?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Then roll your
I'm just going to show him the greater good.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
6 dice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Nice.
The greater god.
You can spell it however you like. Ooh, hello. That will be 8 in core.
I think. I mean, now we've kind of
25 total.
No.
25 total, but what I want you to do here, from what you just described, I'm assuming that you're punching straight down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. The ground hits back.
Oh. Thanks, Newton.
Like gorilla.
Yeah, when the Hulk does that to a character, it's not just the
That's
Hulk
really,
strength.
really bad.
It's no good at all, right? So that's going to actually be 4. Okay. Yeah. You are basically going to pound him. It's taking a lot to actually knock him out, but you are pounding him into the ground, and he is just like trying to, not quite grasping what is happening. A recovery is not going to do it this time. So, so I don't know. I mean, it's you've mentioned the greater good and everything. Excellent. So the 3 of you've done this. The other 2, Hellbender just kind of folds his arms and says to Slice, we can take him. And she looks at Stench, looks at Hellbender, looks at the 3 of you, and just turns her back and starts to walk. Right.
Fair enough.
But Hellbender says, "You got to give him back, though."
Ooh, this guy? Sure.
Okay. So I wish we could play this out a little bit more, but the fact is that there's just almost too much. Let me summarize.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, the Swedish government has a new chief of espionage. And the European Union has been shown that the Swedish superheroes are not going to let them wander in and send their tough guys in. Probably the most important point, though, is that your kind of public perception of you two is going to make sure that the Swedish government can't push you around either. The bad news for Cosmonaut is that he's going to be getting missions from Mika Bistrom that everyone expects you to do. All your the public just expects you to do. So I mean, it's usually nothing. I mean, it's not like terrible things. It's just stuff like, hey, we heard about this lost kid. Can you go find him, please? That kind of thing. You're like,
lost kitten. Yeah.
But so that's your situation. And I'm trying to think of how else I really want to put this. Basically, I'm curious about like your lifestyle stuff. I mean, Ulrika is proud of you, basically, and is particularly happy that you guys sort of seem to converge in your interests in life, and they turned out to be compatible. But the other thing I wanted to tell you about is that the parents of your school district for Carl Henrik, they have nominated you to be the to lead this. Hold on, let me pull out my now because it's all here. That's why I'm feeling a little bit at sea sometimes. I don't have my now to to consult. It makes me upset if I don't have it. Where did you go? That's annoying. Talk about being upset. It's nowhere. All right. Let me remember. You have the opportunity to lead a task force about racism in the school district, institutional systemic racism. What practices of the institutions are having racist effects that aren't the same as just somebody using bad words, right? What opportunities are being badly handled? What built-in factors are limiting people's success that they could easily, do well if these factors weren't there. And so this has been talked about in the school board and stuff for some time, but it was surprising to the committees involved when the parents insisted that you were the teacher that they wanted to be in charge of the task force. They were like, him? And they were surprised. The parents are like, yeah. So this is where, Sandir and a number of other people have sort of stepped up for you and said this is what they want you to do. So that's something that Carl has.
I'm honored. When it comes to, the new chief of espionage, I think there's a long story there. There's a long running.
Oh, I agree. That's not going to be resolved anytime soon. Yeah.
But the interesting stuff is that I don't see him as a nemesis or an enemy.
This is where we have the power of the player. You guys control your situations.
Yeah.
You can rearrange your situations as we continue to play. It's no fun to do it constantly because they often, that's what I use to create the now mostly. And so therefore it's better to let them play through for a while. But once you look at your situations and you say, my situation has changed. Rewrite them. That's okay. It's usually good to, it's rare that you totally revise your whole situations, but you can look at it and say, well, he is...
It depends on if he's still hunting me and wants my suit and stuff like that. So then that's something else. But
well, that kind of varies. The real point is not what he's trying to do. The real point is whether you want your presence to work against him, or whether you are defining yourself as by his antagonism. In a way,
exactly.
Right. In a way, by taking him as a hunted, that means you're defining your character as hunted by this guy.
As a prey.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you don't want that, then you don't take it. Right. And so, so I suggest to give some thought to your situations. Look at the rules and say, am I as committed to this, or am I as broken as I was before? Right. You could reduce that psychological limitation just down to sometimes. Psychological situation down to sometimes. And so it's not as many points, but you're a little broken sometimes, but not like you were before. Right.
Not at all. I think fighting bad guys has
improved. I think it's improved him considerably. Yes.
Yeah.
I think look at your situations. You don't have to do it right now, but I'd really be, even if we won't continue to play, it's really nice to look at the changed situations and say, okay, this is where he is now. It's kind of like the end of one of the Spider-Man stories where he's sitting on the edge of a rooftop looking out over the city, and you kind of get the idea, all right, we we settled that stuff. What's next? We settled that stuff. I learned a lesson. What am I going to change these relationships? What's next? So that's kind of what you guys are working on now.